Doing today? We're doing good. Today we want to talk about you come in complete, you are enough. How does that sound? Meaning, when you were born, you were complete and had all the tools you needed, all the personality you needed, all the ifs, ands, or buts you needed, everything to handle your life until history got there.
Yeah.
And then you started learning things different. But our point is, you have everything and you are enough the way you are. And you don't have to sacrifice anything about you for anybody else. And if they're asking you to, that's when we start talking about sit down, go in your heart and find out. Because as you all know, well, maybe you don't, some of you, but that I had a near-death experience. And what I found out was I was enough, period. And that God said to me when I showed up on the other side, well, first I said, what do you want? What did I come here for? And God said to me, you came here. I have no idea. What do you want? And I'm like, what? And it was, what do you want? What do you want to know? And we had a conversation about that unconditional love. And you are enough. You can have what you want. You can have what you need. You have it all because you are enough. So what do you want to know? And that's why we talk all the time about ask, 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 ask. Because ask and it shall be given. So everything we talked about was me asking God, well, what about this? What about that? What about? And then in the very beginning, I forgot to say too, he said, you weren't asking the right questions when you were on the earth. Question everything down there because you are enough. You came in complete. And if you ask the right questions, and he compared it to, you're on a rock hunt, you're having a great time, but you know the color rock, the shape of the rock, everything about the rock. You'll know when you see it, that's the answer. And that's when he said to me, if you would have kept going on the rock hunt a little bit further, you would have picked it up and you would have found the question was, what are you doing with the planet and with the people? Because I don't like the fact that people call you bad and that you punish it and we're bad and we sin. And he said, none of that's true. And you would have found that. But you have to keep asking. You are enough. I go with you, work with you. But you even have to ask me because I won't violate your choice. What would be the point in that? Oh, go down there and do everything I want you to do. No, it's your experience. That's why you came in complete and you are enough and you ask for help or knowledge or whatever you want. As long as you keep asking, you're going to keep getting. You're going to keep receiving. You're going to keep opening the door. You're going to keep seeking. That asking is critical to you. And we bring it into the relationships with the partners, the kids, the job, questions in every area. Because you have to come to know you are enough. You are appreciated. You ask to be on the planet to accomplish what you want, not what everybody else wants.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's not about everyone else.
No.
So don't make it about everyone else. And we're masters at making it about everyone else and what everyone else thinks and what everyone else says and what everyone else wears and how everyone else looks. And the point is you came to live your unique expression as you.
Right.
And that's so interesting that God's like, well, you have to ask because everyone thinks he tells you and he judges you and he has to forgive you and you're a sinner. But none of that came up in your conversation.
Well, because it wasn't true. He said, it's all about your choice and what you want and what they meaning the people call sin. He says that's you stopping and pausing and saying, this doesn't feel right. What's with this and me? It's not sin. It's change. And it's seeking. It goes with the seeking part about lifting the rock. If that's not the answer, don't do it.
Right, because you relate that like in almost like beliefs even, or like, you know what I mean? Like that's an interesting part of that.
What?
Like when you said, well, it's they're saying you get it wrong, or that you have guilt or that you're sinning, that never felt right in your spirit.
Oh, never. That's why I was there.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm tired of being called out on stuff I have no idea what you're talking about.
You already knew, like, going...
The I am enough person knew my spirit.
Yes.
Yes.
And then when you went to see God, he said, well, yes, it is, you're the one. You have to ask. He didn't put it on him.
No.
He already knew you guys were one and said, you're in charge because you're part of me.
Right.
So,
and that's why that pause was so important. That intention was, you know when you're off. That's why you're here.
Right.
And you know when you're off, when you're there. Just ask the question and get another answer.
Right.
And don't take
on what everyone else thinks you should or buy into their beliefs or their system.
Exactly.
You have to go in your own heart and check in with you and see where you stand. Is this helping me feel like I am enough?
Right.
And aligned with my enough. And if it's not aligned with your enough, then you go find what is aligned with your enough.
Yes, because then you're living partial. Well, I have this influence and it's still too heavy.
Yes.
And that's what brought me to the near death. Everything was too heavy.
Right.
You didn't sound like God. You didn't act like God. You didn't help like God.
So
but
down
boy,
here you were saying
all those things.
Everything feels so off. It feels so heavy. It feels like I'm wrong all the time. It feels like I'm guilty all the time. None of this is adding up for my heart.
Yeah,
so I want to go talk to you right now.
Right.
So that's why you chose to have the near death, to get the clarity, to bring it back, to say none of this is true. What we've learned, the truth is there's only love, there's only joy, there's only peace. It's not about the forgiveness. You forgive yourself.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You go look under the rock.
And you look and say, oh, that's not for me. It's not even good or bad. It's like, nope.
Right. It's not a fit.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the part that gets really good, is when you understand you came in to be enough because you are enough and you are complete and you can ask anything you want and you'll get the answer. If it doesn't feel right, it's not the right answer.
Yeah, it's just not for you.
Yeah.
So you move to the next one and
Yes.
you look for something else and
Yeah, that's exactly right. You look for something else because all there is love. Unconditional love means all there is love for you. Just love. And then that love was placed inside of you to be a two-way relationship, and neither one is ever wrong.
Yeah. Right. If it doesn't fit, it just doesn't fit. And you just keep it moving, right?
Yes, exactly. So that's really important for all of us to remember all the time, because you don't get the truth if it doesn't feel right. You don't do it, period. Stop. Yeah. And if you're exhausted, you're doing too much outside of being complete and enough. You've stepped right outside of your completeness, and you've stepped right outside of your enough. Sit down and say, wait a minute. I need this unconditional love. I need to feel me somewhere in here, in this mud soup right now. There's a me. Yeah. And it's so true.
And he didn't go over all the stuff like, a lot of people say, well, there's like a list he goes over or whatever. There was no list to go over. It was like, wait a second, you're here. What do you want? How do you feel? Where are you at? He was asking you, which is so foreign to everyone. Everyone thinks there's a hammer that comes out that, you didn't say you love.
See, but the list that didn't come out didn't match the unconditional person I met.
Yes.
See what I mean? There was no list. How can there be a list when you're unconditional?
Right, true that.
It's like your
There's
kids.
the ticket. There's the golden ticket.
Yeah.
Right.
It didn't come up because it doesn't exist. It's you chose.
There is no list. It's all unconditional. So what do you want to do about it?
Right.
How do you want to navigate? Knowing you're enough, knowing you're part of me, knowing that you can't get it wrong.
And that's why I chose to learn Akashic Records, because there's records of all our lifetimes. And we can go into those records and say, what did I do in another lifetime that is playing out now that I need to, and I'm being conditional on me.
Yes.
And I want to be unconditional. What am I doing here?
That's the thing too. We're so conditional on ourselves and everyone else. But if we actually live from a place of unconditional, which is a practice, but
Yes,
everyone has the
absolutely.
opportunity to do it. And we can fall off and get back on.
Yes.
But our whole life would change.
Yes, exactly. Because if you are feeling shame, that's outside of unconditional.
Yep.
If you are feeling blame, that's outside of unconditional. If you are feeling guilt, that's outside of unconditional. Those things do not exist. They are man-made to control.
Yes.
They are man-made so people can blame. And I'm not saying they do it on purpose. I'm just saying we pick it up. We pick up those things, and we need
what
to.
if somebody comes to you and they said, "Well, so and so did this. They let's say they killed my brother," and how would you answer that? Like, if it's unconditional, how do you get past something like that? Where everyone thinks like
Well, the first thing is
everyone has
the consciousness, and God is not going to explain to you why somebody else on their own choice and their own behavior did something.
Right.
Because that's the only thing he can say.
Right.
Because he does not.
Because it's still unconditional.
He's not a puppet. Yes, he's not a puppet.
He's not playing with Joey, Sally, and everyone's on all
and this
these
one
strings.
gets killed,
right.
and this one gets this, and it's none of
across
that.
the
How
board.
we all. That's how we all learn to get together, and we all learn to make good choices, and we all learn to eliminate things that don't serve us. It's a learning experience.
Here.
But once you know you're unconditionally loved and won't be judged by spirit and by God, you have the freedom to experiment and say, "Oh,
What would it feel like if I was actually unconditional to
yes,
him?
yes,
How could that serve all of us for forgiveness and compassion?"
Well, exactly, because I know this is a really serious, all the guys in jail and the women, and we could not even begin to create what happened to them and where their choices were and why they did it. But the one thing we can do is, God forgive them. They know not what they did.
Yes.
That's what I say the most.
Yeah.
God forgive them. They know not.
They didn't realize
if
they
did,
were enough. They didn't realize it was unconditional.
Yeah.
They got caught up in
Yep.
blame, shame, and guilt instead of realizing you're unconditional.
Yep, and you are loved more than you can even imagine. That acceptance, that love,
Unconditional
and that vibration.
acceptance, unconditional love, unconditional compassion, unconditional truth, right? Like, it was all just this state of, oh my gosh.
Yes, because being unconditional, God can only tell you the truth.
Yep.
So sometimes I think, oh my goodness, I'm not asking enough, and that's my truth. And God says, well, you asked not because you didn't ask. You have not because you asked not. And I'm like, thank you for that reminder. I'm not talking to myself again. I'm not talking to you. I'm not communicating with me. And we have to get to know ourselves.
Right. That's why we always talk living from your heart, living in your heart, so that you remember you are enough. You remember.
Yes.
It's a remembering.
Yes. And you have all the freedom that you can imagine. You can't outdo the freedom we have. So it's all on us to decide, what do we want to do?
Yep.
And it's just an amazing experience. And every time I share it, there's more truth that comes out about the love. And that's where you all already are in the love.
Right.
So
right, you're not outside the love.
Never.
Even if you think you are, you're still
never.
not.
Nope.
Right.
Yep. So,
Even on those days you're like, oh my God, I cannot. And it's like, nope, you're still not out. You're still included. Really, even this day, yep, you're still included.
You're never out of
You
bounds.
mean even those hateful thoughts I had about the neighbor? Oh, yep, you're still included.
Yep.
So take that and really run with it, and just sit in that ease and that grace and feel into that truth, and just allow your body to relax, and all the stress and all the stuff, all the learned, and just let it go.
Yeah, the learned behavior, you can just let it go.
Yeah.
You're really free. You cannot outdo your freedom. You have the freedom to make any change your heart comes up with. And when you come up with it with your heart, it has the way to go.
Yep.
It has the way.
Yep.
So
keep remembering you are enough. You are worthy. You are God. You are your God self. Everything's unconditional.
You are complete. You are complete.
You came in complete.
Yep.
So sit with that one. Leave comments. We'd love to hear. Enjoy your day.